News breaking right now that Alabama DB Caleb Downs is in the portal, the former five-star, the SEC Freshman of the Year. He's in the portal. There's also more news. Jabbar Muhammad, lockdown corner, leaving Washington. He's on his way to Texas as we speak. So needless to say, the portal is popping. I'm bringing on Pete Nakos, On3's portal expert, to break down all this recent news. But first, guys, look at this. We hit 40K. I appreciate you. You are awesome. Let's get it to 50K. Hit subscribe if you're not already. All right, let's bring on the great Pete Nakos. Now, Pete, starting with the big news, we're just going to go there. Caleb Downs is in the portal, first reported by Jeremy Johnson of On3. And I remember his recruitment. It was Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia. Those were the main players. What are you hearing about Caleb Downs now that he's in the portal? Is it going to be these usual suspects or a new team?
Yes, so we're still waiting for Caleb Downs to officially enter the transfer portal. As you said, Jeremy Johnson was first reported for On3 this morning. Just talking to multiple sources right away today, it's going right back to that high school recruitment, Josh. I'm hearing a lot of Georgia. I'm hearing some Ohio State. And the recent happenings with Travaris Robinson going to Georgia is definitely going to help the Dogs out.
Yeah, and a lot of people are thinking that T-Rob to Georgia means Downs to Georgia. Is it going to be that simple? Once his name's officially in the portal, are you expecting a bit of a recruitment or an instant transfer?
I think we're going to have to see it first. I've been told by some sources that Ohio State's going to make a massive push to try to get involved. They know that they're kind of climbing from behind. Obviously, Georgia really likes where they sit right now. I think that this is a situation also where he's going to have to make a quick decision because of the way the class schedule is set up. Ohio State and Georgia have already both started classes, and both those programs are going to make a push to get him on campus quickly so he can get enrolled properly and participate in spring ball.
Yeah, regardless of what happens, it's going to probably happen quickly. But what about just the chance? Is there a chance that he could return to Alabama?
Just speaking to a couple sources, I have not heard that so far. Now, maybe Kalen DeBoer makes a hire that might change those things, but I think it's like seven defensive backs from Alabama have already entered the transfer portal. With Downs being the seventh, I don't see Caleb Downs returning to Alabama at this point.
All right, so what does this signify in terms of Alabama's offseason? Is this the last Alabama star to hit the portal, or is this just the tip of the iceberg?
I see this as maybe the tip of the iceberg. The dominoes start to fall. I mean, Caleb Downs, SEC Freshman of the Year, was the star of that Alabama defense this past season. I could see a handful of entries still go in with Caleb Downs maybe marking like the really first big one outside of a couple others so far.
All right, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. More breaking news, though. Jerry Hamilton, he reported about an hour ago that Jabbar Muhammad, who's leaving Washington, is on his way to Austin right now for a visit. What are you hearing about the Longhorns' chances here?
I think Texas is in a really good spot. Jerry did a great job reporting that this morning for On3. Texas made an in-home visit this past weekend, which really positioned them well, and now they're going to get him on campus.
And then is he going to take this visit to Alabama? I'm hearing that that's a possibility. Even with all these players departing Alabama, are they bringing in a transfer prospect?
Jerry also reported that Jabbar is supposed to maybe make a visit to Tuscaloosa on Friday. I would be a little surprised if he does land at Alabama. Now, maybe he goes on a visit, hears out his old head coach, see what's kind of going on with the Tide. But I've heard a lot of Texas, and I've also heard a lot of Oregon.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Oregon. These visits, sometimes with the transfer portal, if the recruit or if the prospect doesn't commit on that visit, starts taking more, it usually signifies that he's moved on from that school. But is that the case with Oregon here?
So Oregon didn't in-home this past weekend as well as Texas. They're not scheduled for an official visit at this point. But I think the going thought is, obviously, right, he played football the last few seasons in Seattle. He knows what the West Coast looks like. He knows what Oregon has to offer. Getting him on campus right now is not do or die for the Ducks and definitely does not take them out of this recruitment.
Okay. So when do you think this one wraps up? How much further can it go?
So he's going to be at Texas today. Supposedly, he might go to Alabama on Friday. I would expect maybe something over the weekend. Don't want to give it a definite timetable, but that would be what I'm looking for. And let's see if he makes it to Alabama first. I think that
Right.
could really show his cards.
Right. Okay. Yeah, speaking of Alabama, let's circle back. Former five-star tight end Amari Niblack is in the portal. What are you hearing there?
I think this has Texas written all over it, right? Steve Sarkisian has really done a great job of kind of curating some portal talent from Alabama and adding it to his offense. Texas is also in the mix for a Stanford tight end, Ben Yurchik.
Right.
He was recently at Georgia this past week. I could see Amari Niblack going to Texas. We'll see what happens with the Stanford tight end visit, but I think Texas would be a school to watch here.
All right, really dynamic offensive weapon there. And then the last person I want to talk to you about is Zalance Heard. He's leaving LSU, the top offensive tackle in the country. The last time we talked, it was about a week ago, you told me that he was going to probably decide between OU and Tennessee. Has there been any movement? Because he hasn't taken any visits, has he?
No, so we took those Tennessee and Oklahoma visits, and that was kind of it. I reported that Ole Miss was in the mix, and Ole Miss has since kind of removed itself from the mix.
Okay.
Tennessee is a super strong NIL program, probably top tier in college football. And I continue to hear that Tennessee has the slight edge at this point. I don't expect him to take any more visits, but with Zalance Heard, you never really know what's going to pop up.
Right. All right. Well, big news today. Caleb Downs is in the portal. Guys, let me know. Comment section below. Where do we think Caleb Downs is going to land? Is it going to be Georgia? Could Ohio State pull him? Could he end up back at Alabama? I don't know. Let me know. Comment section below. Pete Nakos, thank you for dropping by the Inside Scoop, talking breaking news today.
Thanks so much, Josh.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.